Alice White stared at the divorce papers on the table and realized that her husband had already signed them. Then she looked toward the window. Jasper Beckett's upright figure reflected in her watery eyes. He looked charming under the afternoon sun, but also cold and domineering. Even from behind, he radiated aloofness.
I've signed it. You should also hurry and sign it. I want to finish all the legal procedures before Leah returns.
Jasper had his hands collapsed behind him and didn't turn to look at her.
We've already agreed on the assets before marriage, so there won't be any issues with that. However, I will compensate you with another $20 million and a villa on the outskirts. After all, you'd be living without anything else. It'll be hard for me to explain that to Grandpa later if you do.
Alice was stunned and upset.
Does Grandpa know you're divorcing me? So what if he knows? Do you think it'll affect my decision?
After hearing that, Alice felt faint and grasped the table tightly. Then she asked softly while on the verge of tears.
Jasper, can we not get a divorce?
Finally, Jasper turned around and looked at her with a strange gaze. He had thin lips, deep eyes, and fierce features. Alice would still feel a flutter in her heart when she looked at his perfectly contoured face.
Why? Because I love you.
Alice's eyes were red and filled with tears.
I love you, Jasper. I still want to be your wife, even if you don't have any feelings for me. Alice White, I've had enough. Every second is torture to me in this loveless marriage.
Jasper waved his hand. He didn't have the patience to listen to her anymore.
It was a mistake that you married me. You know I was fighting with Grandpa. You also knew I had feelings for someone else, and we couldn't be together. Now that the 3-year period is up and Leah is returning from Muscovia, it's time you vacate the position of Mrs. Beckett.
Alice had her head down, and her tears fell onto the table. She quickly wiped them away. Still, Jasper saw it, and his gaze became deeper. At this time, his phone rang. When he saw the caller, he quickly answered it.
Leah, have you boarded a plane?
His tone was extremely soft. He was totally unlike the indifferent, cold man that Alice knew. Jasper, I'm already at Savannah City Airport. Leah's excited voice sounded through the phone.
What? Didn't you say you would fly tonight?
I wanted to give you a surprise.
Leah, wait for me. I'll pick you up right now.
With that, he quickly walked past Alice. Once the study room door closed, the depressed atmosphere remained. Alice had had a crush on Jasper for 10 years, and they were married for 3 years. She had given her all for this family and stayed loyal to him. Yet in the end, he only felt as though it was torture. Now that Jasper was finally freed, he ruthlessly abandoned her. Excited to marry his first love, Alice felt pain in her heart. She could never make him fall for her no matter how hard she tried. After that, she took a deep breath and shook her head as tears fell into Jasper's name on the divorce papers. That night, Jasper took Leanna Gardner back to Seaview Manor. The delicate woman was being held in his arms. They entered the villa in a defiant manner, attracting everyone's attention. Jasper, you haven't divorced Alice yet. I don't think it's a good idea for us to be so close. Alice will be mad at me. Leanna caressed Jasper's chest as she spoke.
She won't.
Jasper didn't hesitate.
I don't love her anyway.
or just in a contractual relationship. She knows her place. Everyone in the Beckett family surrounded Liana and showed their concern. Only Alice was left alone in the dining room, getting dinner ready. Amid the chaos, Jasper caught a glimpse of his wife's lonely figure and smirked. He thought,
Even at this point, she's still like a loyal maid, serving the buckets. Does she think there will be a chance for things to turn around? Ridiculous. Mr. Beckett! Mr. Beckett!
the butler suddenly rushed over in a panic.
Madame Alice, she left. Left? When did she leave? Just a moment ago. She didn't take anything. After she removed her apron, she left from the back door and was picked up in a black car.
Jasper rushed to the bedroom to find it immaculate. Only a signed divorce agreement was on the bedside, and he could still see the tear stains. He frowned and walked to the window. A Rolls Royce sped away from the Seaview Manor and soon vanished into the dark.
Wasn't she unwilling to leave in the afternoon? Now she's quick to disappear.
Displeased, Jasper caught his secretary.
Find out who's the owner of the car with the plate A9999.
Yes, Mr. Beckett. After 5 minutes, his secretary called. Mr. Beckett, we found it. The car belongs to the president of KS Group. The president of KS Group? Alice came from a village. She was poor with no outstanding background. She didn't even have any friends during the 3 years together. How could she know the president of KS Group? Had she moved on so quickly and found herself another man? Mr. Beckett, did you really divorce Madame Alice today? The secretary asked tentatively.
What's the matter? Can I do it today? When do you think I should divorce her then?
Jasper was furious. It's her birthday today. Jasper was taken aback when he heard that. On the back seat of the Rolls Royce, Jonah Taylor took Alice's hand and gently squeezed it.
When Silas heard you were coming back, he prepared a bunch of fireworks to welcome you. I'm not in the mood for fireworks.
Now she had returned to her status as a sign of the Taylor family. She leaned on her eldest brother's shoulder and sighed. Her eyes glistened with tears. Then she glanced at Alice White's phone to read the last message there. It was not from her ex-husband, but from Liana. What did I tell you? You'll have to give me back my position after you stole it from me. Jasper is mine. Don't even dream about getting him to stay with you. She smiled wryly and finally came to her senses after shedding one last tear.
What's the matter? Can you bear to leave?
Jonah hugged her, his heart aching for his sister.
Jonah, it's my birthday today. I know, that bastard should be struck by lightning for choosing today to do this with you. That's why I don't feel like I can't bear to leave. Jasper killed Alice White today.
When Elisa Taylor opened her eyes again, she no longer showed any sentiments for Jasper.
I finally got to be free. If I ever go back, I'm better off dead.